Welcome back, everyone, to your podcast, our podcast, the Popular Side Podcast. As always, that's Yinka Yusuf, and I'm Akandike. Yinka, how are you? How's it going? How's life?
I'm good.
What's happening? I
am very, very busy. For those that know my line of work, this is what I call my busy season.
Yes.
So it's been crazy. It's been crazy. I thought it was bad last year. It's worse this year. Then is it fortunately or unfortunately now? Let me say fortunately, because I actually like Ramadan. Ramadan starts on Wednesday.
3 days.
Yeah, Ramadan starts on Wednesday, hopefully. It might even be Tuesday. You never know. And it's looking like on paper it's not a good combo, busy season and Ramadan, right?
But it happens every year.
No, not necessarily.
Some years.
There was a slight overlap last year, yeah. But the overlap is a lot more this year. But yeah, it is what it is. I'll be fine. Ramadan calms me down. You know this, yeah?
I mean, if I was to comment,
yeah,
I would say I get the best version of you during Ramadan. But that's only if I were to comment.
But it's true. So I'm less active on WhatsApp groups, social media, and the rest of it. I'm less crazy. If you say nonsense, I'll give you the benefit of doubt. I'll be like,
you just leave it to God.
As you
should all the time.
As I should all the time. As I should all the time. But yeah. Oh my God.
So the best version of Yinka Yusuf comes just before Ramadan, during Ramadan, and just after.
Absolutely.
But like 1 month before, 1 month after, nope. You get the regular Yinka.
I'm telling you.
Oh,
but it's all good. It's all good.
Okay, so Yinka,
yes, sir.
We're recording on a Sunday. There's a lot going on in the world of sport. There's no good way to say it, but the team that we love so much to hate are at it again. Tottenham Hotspurs have fired the otherwise successful manager. Successful when he was with Brentford. Bottom of the pile with Spurs. Speak on it.
Okay. So Thomas Frank, what do they call him? The Frank engine, or what did they call him?
Frank the engine. Frank that's whatever.
True. Come on, the guy's gone. He's gone. Yeah. And see, I hate it when someone is down, you now start kicking him, right? A lot of a lot of information has come out of Spurs throwing mud at Thomas Frank. And the mud, I don't know whether the Spurs media people realize that they are actually mocking the club. They're not mocking the coach. How can you let information like that come out, that the guy is always raving about Arsenal and how good they are, knowing that the guy was in an Arsenal Cup a couple of weeks ago? It's like it now makes it seem as if the guy was a Trojan horse. Right? It makes it seem as if it was an in-house spy that Arsenal kind of put in there to go mess you all up. Just keep quiet. You fired him, let it go. Go. So what's the objective of saying before games is raving about Arsenal, is saying how good they are, and even the players were like, just shut up already. I'm like, who let this info out? Who thought it was a nice idea, right, to throw mud at his name? You're throwing mud at the whole club. Now you're all in relegation battle. The guy's record is abysmal. We thought Ange was bad. His record is worse than Ange. Although you gave Ange a longer period of time to do his thing.
Yes.
But his record was poor. I think it was it around 30% or thereabout?
29.
it was 29%.
29 win percentage.
Win percentage was 29.
It's the worst of the last 10 managers at Spurs. He's number 10. And this goes back to Juan de Ramos. Remember the Juan de Ramos days?
Yeah, I do.
Bottom of the pile. Meanwhile, Mourinho was very low as well. I was really shocked. It's the one place where Mourinho did not do well at all.
So maybe it's not a coaching problem. It's a Spurs problem. So
it's a DNA problem.
Ange was on the overlap overview with the Neville brothers and overlap with the Neville brothers and Ian Wright, and he kind of shed a bit more light about how things work at Spurs. And then you realize maybe it's not the coach. Maybe it's just Spurs, right? The what's his name again? The Italian guy that was there, I've forgotten his name. I've forgotten his name. The guy in charge of football, their footballing director or so. The guy is so particular about, balancing the books. Right, he was more particular about making money for the owners rather than having success on the pitch. Well, they won an Europa League. Maybe that's the max for them. But right now, these guys are in a relegation battle. Spurs are in relegation battle. It is sad, absolutely sad. I'm happy, but it's sad for them.
Okay, so we're not gonna waste time talking about this. I'm gonna wrap this very quickly. I am not sad. It is not sad. I am happy. I don't have Ramadan coming up, so I don't have to be nice to these guys. Okay. If I can find some grace in my heart, what I would say is this. As someone who went through a decade of my club underachieving, and when I talk to otherwise intelligent people, saying stick with Wenger, stick with Wenger, stick with Wenger. And I'm like, I don't understand. Like people who know me personally know I say this all the time. You're not going to find me as an old man out there trying to do young people stuff. That would not be me.
Is that not what you are doing right now? Are you not an old man?
We're not old. I'm mid-40s. I'm not old.
In this day and age, that is old.
I'm bringing some wisdom. I'm bringing some much needed wisdom into this space. No, but seriously, like when I'm old, I will be home counting my money, right, and letting young people do young people stuff.
Yep,
that would not be me, right? But Obama just did an interview. I don't know when he did it, but it just came out yesterday, and he doesn't give a lot of interviews like that. Now that he's no longer president. And I heard something he said. He's like, I'm 60. I think he said how old is Obama? 67? However old he is. He's like, I'm 60, however old now. And I'm no longer connected to the zeitgeist. And he was like, anyone who's going to run for office needs to be plugged in, needs to be connected. And I'm like, we still look at Obama as this hip, whatever. Yeah, he was hip for 2008.
Yeah.
Everybody fades. Everybody has to move on, So I say all that to say, when I was going through with my club and people were holding on to dear life with a once legendary manager who was not doing what the fans needed to do, but they kept him on because he was fulfilling the KPI given to him by
the board,
the owners, which is, make top four, make us some money.
Make us some money.
We know you never win, and it was okay. But the football gods don't like that. They don't like that. Like the goal of competition is competition. Not, you know what I mean? Not even when you make more money when you compete. You make more money when you do well. I'm like, it's so basic. Like, why don't you know this? You know what I'm saying? Like even the extra games, right? In the minor cups, you're still getting the gate takings. You're still getting the concessions. You're still getting the TV, right? You pile that up over many, many, many years. That pays for one superstar. It may not be a lot of money compared to Champions League money or compared to league money, but the consistency of it. Also, when I know we talk about the 105 charges for City, but also being in every competition, every year, going deep. You can pay some salaries. You know what I mean? Like, so success begets more success. It's very disappointing. But Frank himself will be fine. He will get back to his level. We've talked about these levels of coaches.
Yeah.
He's a Brentford level manager.
Yep.
He will get another Brentford level job and he'll be fine. This was a little too big for him. It is what it is. But
one might have already opened up for him, which is a good segue into the Sean Dyche firing. Yeah. But go ahead.
So let's do that. So Nottingham Forest sacked Sean Dyche. That one makes no sense to me. It was 4 months on the job.
Yeah.
Right? Mm-hmm. So you fired Nuno, who took you to the highest place you've been in, 30 years? Mm-hmm. You fired Nuno. You brought in Sean Dyche, who is not aesthetically what you want. Right? Mm-hmm. And now he only lasted 4 months, and now it's gone. And now, so you think Frank might be the right person to go into Nottingham Forest?
Who else? Everybody's staying clear of that job. Like, you get what I'm saying? Because there's a dysfunction between the owner, who brought in an Edu to oversee football, but he's not letting him do stuff. All Edu is doing is he has free tickets to go watch the Nottingham Forest games. That's what's going on.
That's funny.
Right?
That's funny.
That's all he's doing. So
that's funny,
the owner, this dysfunction going on at this club is the owner, right? I can tell you that what probably happened is Sean Dyche looked at him after this window that passed that they didn't do any significant business, probably looked at him and said, you're running a clown show here. This is a circus here, right? I think that's what happened. This is not something I heard or something that was reported. It's just odd. It was so left-sided. We were so blindsided by this whole thing. If they had told you Sean Dyche will be fired or will be the next guy, you'd be like, what the hell is going on? Right?
Yeah.
You are in the next round of Europa League. Yeah, you're fighting relegation. Well, he's doing what you expect Sean Dyche to do. His win rate is similar to his win rate at almost every other club that he's been in. In fact, it's even better than his win rate at Everton. Maybe not as good as Burnley's, but it was better than his win rate at Everton. And he's getting stuff out of the team, So I don't know. And when you hired him, you know his style of play. He is not the skillful tiki-taka.
No,
he's a swashbuckling, kick everybody kind of situation. That's his thing, So I'm surprised with what's going on.
Okay. We have one more worthy mention. How do I introduce this charitably without tipping my hand? The so-called owner of Man U had a lot to say about immigrants in the UK. Apparently colonizing the UK, which is just the most unfortunate choice of words that you could have introduced into the situation. Inka, before we move forward, this meme comes around every time England is in a tournament. You know the meme I'm talking about. Map of the world, dotted by all the places Great Britain has colonized.
Yes.
And it's like the entire world. Pretty much. Right? So to now flip that and say that immigrants into the UK are colonizing the UK. Because this is a family show, I'm just going to call it unfortunate. Right? And then, of course, he was wrong about his facts.
Yeah.
He said since COVID, there's been 12 point something million more people in the UK.
58 million to 70 was wrong.
Yeah, it was actually 2.5-ish million more. Obviously, not all immigrants. There's natural growth that happens when women make babies. And that's how it is. Economists know this, to sustain your older dying population, you need every woman of childbearing age to make 2 babies. That's how you sustain your population, right? Yep. Below the 2, you get fewer people in the next generation, which is bad for your economy because people are living longer. Again, I don't need to teach a class here, but that's how it goes. Obviously, in places like Nigeria, that is not a problem. Every woman they're pumping out six babies per woman. Not a problem. Y'all like to make babies. So I saw this. There's a few things that rattled me, right? This guy's name is Ratcliffe. I'm not going to put any sir in front of him. They can kiss. But he is a migrant himself to Monaco. Last year, he paid £0 in taxes
to the UK
because he found a way to not pay taxes to his home country, and he didn't pay any taxes in Monaco, obviously. So the whole thing is rich, right? You're a migrant yourself. You don't pay any taxes. You're mooching off of 2 countries, technically. You run a terrible operation in the UK, if we're talking Manchester United, right? You think immigrants, poor immigrants, obviously, are taking the jobs of, Brits, but you fired 300 to 400, mostly Brits, the coffee lady, the tea lady at Man U, so you could save 2 pence when the club was in trouble. So what are we talking about? Am I crazy or am I crazy? Inka, speak.
You will know the extent of how bad this is if the club that you own had to even come out and say, "Mona, don't mind our girl." United had to release an official statement distancing themselves from the comment that he made, and you own the club.
Yeah.
I think that just perfectly summarizes how asinine the whole thing is. Your Manchester United, which is arguably one of your bigger properties or bigger investments, probably even his biggest investment. Let's be frank. Yeah. How many white English boys do you have in that team? Oh, so the value of the club is increasing because of immigrants, but now you're complaining. Make it make sense to me, please. How do you want them to feel? A Kobe Mino, the whole United team. I kind of went through the team. The only white English boy that I can pick up is Luke Shaw.
Okay, that's fair.
Think about it. It's Luke Shaw.
Assuming it's not Irish, but keep going.
You took that out of my mouth. That was going to be the next thing. Or Welsh.
Oh, so you got John Barnes was on, I forget the name of the show, and he was talking about this, and he came on right after Ratcliffe released his apology. Right after. So he was like, I had prepared a different set of remarks. Now that he's apologized, I need to recalibrate, right? So he said they would have 3 players if there were no immigrants. I didn't go through it myself, but that's what John Barnes said. And then the woman who was interviewing him, I mean, John Barnes I wouldn't say it was heated up, but it was fired up. He was saying it with a smile, but it was fired. He's an incredibly intelligent man. And the woman was trying to relate to him and said, hey, you came to England at 12 or whatever it was that you came, you were born in Kingston, Jamaica. Your father was from Trinidad. Your mother was from Jamaica. And you came here as an immigrant. And John Barnes was like, see, this is the problem. You see me as being black in the UK and you assume immigrant. No, my father was military, right? He was in the diplomatic corps. He came here as a diplomat. I was never an immigrant, right? And while I was living in the UK, I was going to go to Howard University in America, right? On a football scholarship. And then someone from Watford saw me playing and at 16 gave me a contract. So he's like, I'm not an immigrant, or I was not an immigrant. So I thought that was really interesting. Again, this was a sympathetic interviewer who meant well, but still got the facts wrong. Still for lack of a better way of putting it, racially profiled John Barnes.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And this is not saying anything about all the racial abuse that John Barnes took when he was playing, all the monkey calls and all of that. Look, this is why I'm sorry. I go back to it again. I can never support this country, England, when they're playing ball. I know the club I support is in England, but I support them for different reasons, and people hate that club for the same reasons I support them. This was the first club to trot out 100% non-English team. And that's why everybody hates them. Okay. People don't hate Arsenal because Arsenal fans are the worst, even though they are. They hate them because of the things they did under Wenger.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So, Akin, just to wrap this up. So I think people are showing their true color based on this comment, especially in the sporting world. You've seen people take it to the extreme to say, yes, is right. Yes, the Muslims are taking over London. They want to bring Sharia law, blah, 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 blah. And I'm like, this is ignorant. And I know this is a sports show, but when I hear people say this about Islam, it kind of rubs me the wrong way, right?
Mm-hmm.
Do your research, right? The early Muslims went to Ethiopia. They lived in Ethiopia while the Prophet was still alive and instructed them, right, to follow the rulings of the people in Ethiopia. It is not the norm for you to go somewhere where they've allowed you in and you now want to be like, oh, now we're the ones in. It is not normal. That's not what you're required to do. And I keep telling you this. A lot of things that people say is kind of different. This guy that was at Crystal Palace before, what's his name? That's on Talk Sports.
The owner?
Yeah, that was at
I know what you're talking. Simon
Jordan. Simon Jordan
owner
spewed a lot of things, and I'm like, wow.
As he always does.
Wow, this is extreme. So this is how you really feel? Is this how you really feel?
Are you shocked?
Wow. I was listening and it got to a point I was like, I can't do this. I just stopped it.
Yinka, I've said this on, and I know we have to wrap and move on, but I've said this on our podcast before, that 3 things will always be. Okay? I'll repeat them again. Anti-Black racism.
Mm-hmm.
Anti-Muslim Islamophobia.
Mm-hmm.
You take your choice of whatever you want to call these levels of hate. Anti-Jewish, anti-Semitism.
Yes.
And the reason I always say that is wherever those groups don't have critical mass in terms of population and or influence, hate will rear its ugly head.
Absolutely.
Right? So, and none of this has anything to do with those groups being childlike, guilt-free, violence-free, right? So there are entire African countries that neither of us would ever want to live in.
Yes.
And it's full of Black people, and we're both Black, and you couldn't pay us to live there.
Absolutely.
So this has nothing to do with the childlike innocence of Black people.
Absolutely.
Okay? There are countries right now where our country, where Black people are being murdered in the, I don't want to exaggerate, let's just say in the hundreds.
Yes.
That we can't confirm. I don't want to say thousands. That may not be, it may not be strictly accurate. Right? And not too long ago, you go to the west and south of where we grew up, there was a genocide. Yes. It was quote unquote Black on Black. I'm not talking about that.
Yeah.
I'm talking of where Black people show up and have neither the critical mass in influence or population. Things tend to happen to them.
Yes.
Let's go to the second one, Muslims. I'm not talking of whatever rules are in majority Muslim countries, whatever they do to women, whatever they do to, I'm not talking about that. Right? I'm talking of where Muslims, Arabs really, because when we say Muslims, it's really Arabs. That's real. That's it. That's what Simon Jordan has a problem with.
Exactly.
Simon Jordan, it's really Arabs. Let's call it what it is, right? So because they say Arabs have taken over Paris, right? They say this all the time. So their real issue is when Arabs, go to Paris or go to Lens or go whatever it is, right? That's their real issue. So when those people don't have critical mass in population or influence, they're exposed. Bad things tend to happen to them. And finally, with Jews, I'm not talking about the state of Israel and how powerful they may be or not, depending on your point of view. I am talking of, I've given this example before, that's in France. After you killed all the Jews and expelled the rest of them, you went back and you went back and desecrated the graves just a few years ago. Why? They already left your town for you. They left your country for you. So again, for me, it's how do you treat? So in, the Bible, Jesus talked about how you treat the least of these.
Yeah.
That's the sense I'm talking about. How you treat people who don't have the power, who don't have the influence. That's how I know what kind of society you are.
You are.
You know? Yeah. How you treat the most powerful doesn't really reveal who you are.
Yeah.
It's how you treat the most vulnerable.
Yeah.
That's how I know who you are. So when an Arab migrant without the money, I'm not talking of the ones buying all the property in Europe, me playing into the stereotype now. I'm talking of the people coming from Syria when their homeland was taken away from them.
Yeah.
That's who I'm talking about. I'm talking of the refugees, from when Libya blew up and people spilled into Germany and spilled into France. How did you treat them?
Spilled everywhere.
Or Spain. Or Italy. Yeah. So, but anyway, so you know what? The things I really want to say about this guy, I cannot say. I will say it under my breath when this is over.
Same here. Same here.
Okay.
Anyway, let's move on.
Let me take a deep breath. Okay, I'm good now. Yinka, we're going to do a really quick breeze through the 5 leagues. Something happened in France. Roberto De Zerbi, the manager of Marseille, was sacked. Again, none of these things make any sense to me, right? I don't know if you have any inside information as to why he might have been sacked.
So it's a similar situation.
Losing to PSG?
No, it's a similar situation to what's happening at Nottingham Forest, right? So not only him is left, the sporting director also, who used to be a footballer, what's his name again? Berani? I might be murdering the name, right? He's also left. So there seems to be a disconnect between, ownership and the people in charge of football, if you get what I mean. And I've said this 1,000,001 times. When there is no goal alignment, then there's a problem. Yeah? I thought De Zerbi was good for Marseille, given the size of their project and their ambitions to challenge PSG. Yeah? But I don't know. It was just out of the blues. We had some rumors a couple of weeks back that he was going to leave. Then he came out and said, I'm staying. Nah, I think he the cup just overran and he said, you know what, I'm out of here, man. But it's unfortunate. It's unfortunate, highly unfortunate.
So there is an Arsenal connection to this. Our, what shall we call him? If Saka is my child and my son, and little Chile, what shall we call the one area?
Yeah.
He may even be more precious, but I don't want to overhype the little baby Chile. I don't know.
Yes, sir.
So Arteta was asked, hey, does this change anything? You sent him to Marseille, presumably because of De Zerbi. You know De Zerbi, you're fond of him, you know how he plays.
Yeah.
And you think it could do something with a player like Nwaneri. And what he said was, hey, as a professional, you need to get used to things like this. Things happen, managerial changes happen. You got to prove yourself or whatever. So, good luck to the kid. And we'll see what happens. Having said that, was there league action in in Ligue 1 today?
There was
weekend,
major uproar, right? So to start with, Nwaneri was on the bench for Marseille. They drew 2-2. I saw this coming. I hope he just manages himself to the rest of the year. I'm not sure we'll get as much game time as initially planned, but it's a good learning process for him. Yeah, it's not every time that things have to be rosy for you. You should have some challenges that you face. So good luck to him. However, PSG, surprisingly, PSG lost. They lost away to Rennes 3-1. Yeah. And today, I think earlier on today, was it today or yesterday? I think Lens won. I believe so. So right now, PSG are second. They are no longer on top of the table. So
and they'll be second by 1 point, right? It will be by 1 point.
It is by 1 point. Okay. So Lens, I think Lens won earlier on today. Yes, Lens beat Paris FC 5-0. So Lens are on top of the table. This is looking funny. There's 12 games to go. We thought PSG will have, put these guys in their rearview mirror by now. Aki, 12 games to go, man.
They will. Okay. They will. I love that there's a challenge. But I want to say something about Nwaneri. So most 18-year-olds don't play every match. That's just Messi at 19 did not play every match. Frankly, your body's not ready for it. So, and I think Marseille would not be good enough to keep him on the bench permanently. So I think on merit, he will play games. He just won't play every game in every competition till the end of time. So if he had stayed at Arsenal, it would not be good enough to be in that cauldron. You know what I mean? It's the the psychological part of it. It's the manager being cautious, all of that. Yeah. But I think it will have opportunities. But okay, Yinka, let's go to the Bundesliga.
Yes, sir. So the Bundesliga, nothing changed. Bayern won, Dortmund won, still a 6-point gap. Nothing unusual happened in the Bundesliga to report, frankly. So we're just gonna breeze.
Thank you, Bundesliga. Let us go to Syria.
A lot happened in Syria. A lot happened in the Syria. So yesterday was Inter versus Juventus. I was gonna package all of this together under my referee watch discussion. Right, but I think I'll just be taking it as we go along. Right.
Okay.
So this match, Aki, Inter got a red card in the first half, while the game was still 1-1, I believe. It was Kalulu, black. Kalulu, French black boy that plays for.
Do you know?
Yeah. Kalulu was given 2 highly dubious yellow cards. The first one, he did not touch the guy. The guy just, flew into the air. Ref gave him a yellow card. That was his first tackle. The second one, it was a tap on Bastoni's shoulder. Bastoni flew in the air again. The ref gave him the second yellow card.
Like him. It's terrible.
And I was looking at him like, Bastoni should be carded there. Right, because he intentionally tried to con the ref. Yeah? Intentionally tried to con the ref and got Kalulu sent off. Kalulu was so furious, he was saying, go check VAR, but it's a second yellow. They don't do that. So the guy got 2 yellow cards that, in my opinion, were not even fouls. For a game that critical to the Syria, that is a shame. An absolute shame. Juve, by the way, tried their possible best. So Inter then scored 2-1. Juve equalized. Locatelli scored a couple of minutes to the end of the game, but Inter scored, what's his name? Zeliski, outside of the, like a 20-yard shot from outside the box. The keeper stood rooted. He couldn't dive. Inter won. But what really pissed me off is that if I'm Kalulu, and I had those kind of yellow cards that translated into a red card, Ake will be livid. And the guy was livid. He did not even want to leave the pitch. He was so pissed. And the commentators, right, were like, that's not a foul. That's not a yellow. But there's nothing they can do. So it's like the ref had it in for him and had it in for Juve. And after the game, there was a brawl. The Juve coaching staff wanted to attack the refs. Even one of their top guns came down and was, like it was bad advert for the Serie A. Very, very bad.
Disappointing.
However, today Napoli-Roma played. Nothing unusual. Good game. Very, very good game. Game ended 2-2. So right now, Inter are 8 points clear. Although Milan have a game in hand. I think they play tomorrow. I think Milan play tomorrow. Milan have a game in hand, but it's looking like it's Inter's Scudetto this year.
It's going to be a very joyless ride to the Scudetto for them. Not that they'll care at all.
Yeah,
because we've seen that team in the Champions League and they're not very good. They're old. They need refreshing. They're taking advantage while their rivals are like a year away, maybe 2 years away. And Napoli is just a question of, once they lost KDB, it was just a question of you have a great manager with a team that was just kind of stitched together. Yes. It was never gonna last.
It was never gonna last. Yeah.
All right, let's move to La Liga. So you got, before you go on La Liga. So I was watching Atleti, right? So this is just crazy to me. I have to say this before I turn it over to you. I'm like, if I'm gonna have to have a job anyway, you know how I feel about jobs. I want the job security, of the manager of Atleti. Okay. This man is still one of the highest paid coaches in world football, right?
Yep.
I don't know what the figure is yet, but they just love this dude so much. He could do whatever he wants. So he's gone from bashing. So he lost last week, right? He's lost again on the road this week, 3-0 to Rayo.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
But in between that, he beat up on Barcelona and caused quite a bit of turmoil in the Barcelona camp. They had to have a meeting, not a players only meeting, a meeting with the coach, where they complained to Flick about his tactics and he complained about their effort. I'm like, I love this, and I'm just like, nothing ever sticks to Simeone. I want that kind of job security where I can just show up, run around on the sideline, abuse everybody at once. I don't want to say almost choke out my player, but it feels to me whenever he's talking to people that he will choke out his players, and then I can lose to Rayo and it's not a big deal. I can be out of I can be out of contention after week 6 and it's okay. I don't know how he does it, Yinka.
I can get my son to come play for me.
That too. He's actually not terrible. He's actually not. He's not a terrible player, but
it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. If I'm the coach, my son ain't playing for me. Same thing with Doc Rivers bringing us to Rivers too. That's for me. That's, I know.
Yeah, but the problem is you can't go back home to your wife.
There's no way you want to dice it unless you're LeBron's father, Michael Jordan's father, Kobe's father, and you're the coach. You get what I'm saying? Yeah. Unless you're Messi's father and you're the coach, unless you're Ronaldo's father and you're the coach, but not Simeone.
Conceição did it. Conceição at Porto did it.
See the coaches that you're mentioning. You have more or less proven my point. See the people you're mentioning.
Did Harry Redknapp do it?
Of course he did.
He
did with his cousin. Jamie. He did with his son. Yes,
that's true.
He did with his nephew. He did with his son. What are we saying?
Yeah, that's tough.
But like I say, what does it profit a club to beat Barcelona in midweek?
3 condo. Yeah,
and now lose away to Rayo Vallecano. I'm sorry.
Tough.
It's tough, right? And it was like 20 minutes to the game. You now bring on Ademola Lookman, who was the main It was the main punisher for Barca midweek. I'm like, what are you doing?
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
It's like they were still riding, they were still basking in that euphoria of the Barca win. They thought Rayo were just gonna overrun them. Nothing is gonna. Of course, they're not here to sell groundnut now. Those people smacked them silly. They smacked them silly, which is quite interesting. Yeah. Atletico is not a serious club. They are the Dortmund.
Damn.
They're the Dortmund of La Liga.
They won a couple La Ligas though.
Nah,
thanks to Suarez. The latest one was Suarez. The one before that was probably Simeone though, right? That was probably Simeone. That first
okay, one. You can give it to them.
The second one was Suarez. It was all Suarez.
It was all Suarez. Anyway, so Madrid won 4-1. Real Sociedad, I think that result kind of flattered Madrid. I mean, see, I don't know what's penalty or no penalty anymore these days. So Sociedad had one, Madrid had one. Both, in my opinion, I don't know. They were not penalties, but I'm tired of complaining at this.
We got a big one coming in the FA Cup, but keep going. Yes, we do.
Yes, we do. We'll get there. So right now, Madrid are on top. Barca don't play until tomorrow. I hope they've gotten the rots and the yips out of their system. I think they're away to Girona. Girona is not a good side. I expect them to win.
Technically, they're away, but Girona is a local club, so it's not really a road trip.
So I expect Barca to be back on top of the table. But too. That Atletico midweek game, Akin, that was, I don't know what happened to Barca. Yeah, I don't know what, they were properly beaten.
But Yinka, I've been saying this. These things used to happen. This is Ronaldo's fault. This is Messi's fault. This is Pep Guardiola's fault. This is Jurgen Klopp's fault. This is Bayern Munich's fault. This did not used to happen. Like, hey, we'll just dominate every tournament, every game, every midweek. That never used to happen, Yinka.
But Akin, that's not what I'm saying.
Okay,
so
what are you saying?
It's not even they didn't give Atletico a good game at all.
That used to happen too, Yinka.
And no. I get what you're saying, but I'm just like, the Atletico side are not way better than you. It's like they came in and they were like, nah, we just. And the worst part is, even the goal that Barca scored that I thought was a clean goal, VAR still found a way that I thought the comeback was on. I was like, okay, game on. Let's see what's going to happen. They still found a way to chop it off. And I'm looking at the line. I'm like, there's no offside here. Which offside is this? They said Lewandowski was off, that his leg was offside. I'm like, you are not drawing the line at the instance where the shot was taken. Right? You're not. That guy wasn't offside. So Barca just had a bad day at work. It was proper Murphy's
Law. I'm glad you said that.
Everything that could go wrong went wrong for Barca. So I'm not shocked that Flick and the team were pointing fingers at each other. Like, you are at fault. And the team is saying, you are at fault. It was bad. Yeah. It was bad. Anyway.
Okay. So we moved to England. There was no EPL this weekend.
Midweek.
There was midweek, but there was not this weekend. So this weekend was all FA Cup. There's one more FA Cup tomorrow. That's Macclesfield. Macclesfield is in the 6th tier of English ball, Yinka. They are non-league, which is crazy. And they were home against Crystal Palace the last round and beat Crystal Palace. I want to say it was 2-0. I don't think it was 1. I think it was 2-0. They dumped them 2-0.
But they beat Crystal Palace. Can't remember
the Crystal Palace. Tomorrow they're home again, I believe, and they're playing against Brentford.
Yes.
So that is going to be interesting. But you are right. There was a midweek EPL. So let's talk about that. Do you want to go for it?
So it was City home to Fulham. City won 3-0. Talking about refereeing decisions again, Phil Foden stamped on Bassey's Achilles, right? And he was given a yellow card. Let me just keep quiet. Yeah, let me keep quiet. Because there is no way, and this is City getting free penalty against Liverpool, then this decision. For me, that's a straight red. That is a straight red. There are no two ways about it. But we'll leave that. Brentford Arsenal 1-1. A lot of people, as usual, Arsenal fans on social media, everybody's going crazy and stuff. And I look at them, I'm like, Brentford is a team in form. Brentford went to Villa, they smacked them with 10 men. Brentford went to Newcastle, they smacked them 3-2, right? They are confident, they're in form. Getting a point in that game is not the end of the world. That might end up being a point gain at the end of the day, right? But people are like, oh, this 6 points. You can't massage this 6 points for the next 12. I told you people this. People don't listen. This thing will go up and down, up and down. Brentford are a team in form, right? And they met Arsenal, who, this is on the throttle. This is like, how many games now? Multiple games, multiple away games, right? And you had a Saliba who was injured before the game started.
Yeah.
That kind of messed up the whole situation. Saka is just gone. Odegaard is just coming back. Eze had a bad day. Take the 1 point and run. Take the 1 point and run. Mosquera had a game-saving tackle. Martinelli could have won it at the end.
After making a mistake.
After making a mistake. Yeah. After making a mistake. That guy looks bigger already. Mosquera. I think he has grown a couple of inches since he joined us.
I like him a lot. I like him a lot.
Yeah. So Sunderland lost, so there's no team that has 100% unbeaten home record anymore.
Home record, yeah.
Liverpool beat Sunderland. So the table is now 4 points between Arsenal and City. Villa further down, 3 points. And interestingly, after City beat, was it the midweek game or this week? City's media, their social media, is it their Twitter account, their X account, came out and said Man City's won their 41st game of the season, right? And everybody just thought that was a honest, post, not knowing that they were actually throwing a dig at their neighbors, Manchester United. Manchester United, all through this season, will only play 40 games. Right? And they didn't know. And so it's the other clubs that are saying, guys, United fans, come and carry your sub. That's your sub. Come and take it. They're mocking you. United are only playing 40 games this season. The 38 in the EPL and the 2 that they got knocked out of in the cup.
One in each cup.
One to Grimsby and the other one to, I can't remember who beat them in the FA Cup.
Oh my God.
They're mocking them, but they didn't get it. They didn't get it. Edit.
Okay. Do you know Live Score? Do you know this account, Live Score?
Yeah, okay. I do.
So they came up with this. In each of the last 3 seasons, Manchester City have managed to pick up more points than Arsenal in their last 12 games, 12 league games. Right now, there's 12 league games to go. Everyone has played 26. Okay? So we go back to 20, 22, 23. Last 12 games, City, 31 points. Arsenal, 21. So 10-point difference. The next season, 32, 31. Just 1 point. And then last season, that City was not even contending, 27, 21 points. So even last season when City came third, they got 6 more points in the last 12 matches than Arsenal did. So I don't know if this is a thing or not. I will serve up some mitigating circumstances, right? And say, even with these new injuries creeping up, this is a much more resilient Arsenal team.
Yep.
This is a much less resilient City team. Someone was saying, I forget who it was, that KDB is not walking through that door. Like the way Pep has managed KDB in the last several years is to just wrap him in cotton wool until the home stretch, the last third of the season, and then unleash him, and have some people shining his shoes and carrying his water bottle and all that, and then he just takes it home and it's all good. And then you have, Gundogan and them running around, cleaning up, and then you have Rodri just sitting there. And then when you have all that, it doesn't matter who's behind you, right?
Yeah.
That's usually how it's gone. When I think about it, I'm like goalkeeper to goalkeeper. I don't know. Maybe Donnarumma is a great goalkeeper, but system-wise, I'll say Raya fits better than Donnarumma fits them. But Donnarumma has given them a lot of swag. He's given them a lot of confidence, and he's made some big saves, whether he's a fit or not. The defense to defense is like night and day, in my opinion. Gay looks like their most front foot defender. It would not start for Arsenal. He's not a great defender. I would just say it right now. He's small. He's just okay, And I'm like, if they think he's going to save the day, I don't think so at all. And it looks like one of their better defenders, which tells me they're not very good defensively. Midfield, it's not even close. It's Arsenal again. Up top is where they have the advantage. And I'm not just talking of Haaland. Haaland obviously is better than anybody Arsenal can play through the middle. But just in terms of form, maybe not class, but in terms of form, they have the form wingers. I would say really in the EPL, only Trossard is on form for Arsenal. In the Champions League, Martinelli has been very on form. Yeah. I think Saka is not, if we've never seen Saka before and he played what he's played now, we say, oh, he's doing well. But because we've seen him before and we're comparing him to himself, we're like, is not what we know he can be. Yinka, I want you to comment on that, but also, if I could quickly segue to the FA Cup today.
Yes.
Calafiori had an injury in warm-ups, and your boy, Lewis Kelly was going to play in midfield this time. It was going to be a midfield of Norgard holding, Eze on left 8, and Lewis Kelly, right 8, Lewis Kelly left 8. Calafiori at left back got injured. They moved Lewis Kelly there. They moved Eze to the left. They put Saka in the Odegaard position. Something I've been asking for. You and I have talked about this going back 3 seasons. I told you Saka was going to end up as a number 10. Remember all this? We talked about it. I'm like, Saka is going to end up as a number 10. And then it became even more of a number 7. And I'm like, I look so stupid saying it, but I'm like, I think that's his best position. And when he played today with a real right winger next to him, I'm like, man, this can really work. So I want you to comment on those 2 things. The Man City of it all, and then the new tactical formation with Arsenal.
So on the City bit, City are the only team out of the top 4, 5 that actually did proper business in January.
That's
right?
True.
And that shows you that they are super rattled and they overpaid for both Gay and they overpaid for Semenyo. Yeah.
Semenyo.
And those are the 2 best players outside of the top 4, top 5. Yeah. Semenyo is Semenyo is League 11 up until he left Bournemouth. Yeah. Gay is not League 11, but he'll probably bubbling under, if you get what I mean.
Yeah.
Probably on the bench or something in League 11. So these guys have gone to reinforce, right? Just because they want to win the league. Yeah? There's still a 115 charges looming. And I don't know where these guys are getting this money from. Between January last year and January this year, Akim, they spent probably 600
But they raised a lot of money. They make a lot of money. Don't forget that. They make a lot of money.
Make a lot of money from what? No, Akim, they
sponsorships?
That's my point. They just they did a right issue or something, and they raised money from their shareholders.
Yeah.
That's how they funded these deals, right?
Yeah.
Don't we see the City Stadium? They don't come to watch their games now. What's in the game? The Carling Cup semi-final, second leg, and the FA Cup. We saw empty seats. That City fans online had to start defending their club. That we are not rich people. We are not this. People can't afford the games. I'm like, there's a long waiting list of tickets for Arsenal. You guys, do you understand what I'm saying? Right? Yeah. So the money, and see, FA Cup and Carling Cup, the money, combine the 2 of them, is not up to what you get in 1 month of EPL. maybe I exaggerate, but you get my point.
Not by
it
lot.
is exactly. It is completely immaterial. Yeah. So City are just flexing right now. I see these 115 charges. I don't know what's going on. It's like everybody's keeping quiet. I think the conclusion has been reached. It's just, I don't know.
No,
something
it's
is
a settlement.
off.
No, there's a settlement coming. Just know this and no peace. There will be no punishment. There will be there's a settlement coming.
Which is where there's going to be a problem.
There will be no problem at all.
There will be a problem. I will tell you why. Other clubs, the EPL is not just City. The other clubs that you've punished, you think they're not going to sue you? They are coming after the EPL.
Everton and who else?
Everton, Forest, Chelsea, Leicester.
Chelsea?
Who else?
Yeah, somebody. Yeah,
whoever it is, Akin. All the people that you find, that you drop points, that lost points, they are going to sue the life out of the EPL. So this is an existential crisis for the EPL. It is either you say City, bye-bye, or this league is going to crash completely. But I digress. So
hold on,
going back,
hold on before you go on. So you know how when we're talking about the deep what do you call it, financial entanglements.
Yes,
you know more about it because you do this for a living. I've been in rooms where narratives are being crafted, so I already know what the narrative is going to be. Okay, there's a lawyer right now. Probably from my old firm because the guy, the guy who runs the joint is from my old firm.
Yeah.
Who is already giving them the ways that their stuff is different from all the other stuff, so the EPL can have a soft landing. So they will differentiate this sufficiently, right? That it won't make sense to anybody else, but it will pass legal muster more or less. Okay. And then there will be tap. Pep will leave as part of all that, right? This is all connected, so Pep's gone, right? So when you start getting mad, who do you want to be mad about? The person that orchestrated the thing is now gone,
It's not Pep,
I know, but they'll get rid of all of them. There's no draft picks. It's not like American sport. You can't say, you can't, maybe they won't be able to sign for 1 or 2 windows. They'll put in all of it together. But please go ahead.
I hear you, but I think this is an existential crisis for the league. That's
okay.
That's the way I see it. Because if I'm the other clubs, I'm suing the life out of you guys. The life out of you guys. But going back to what's happening on the field, the introduction of Semenyo and Gehi has kind of revitalized City in general, right? And you can see the evidence. So that push is like you've just added a bit of fuel and the combustion is better. And we can see it evident on the pitch. How long will they ride this? Frankly, I don't know. I just think the way it is for Arsenal right now, it's in your hands. Keep it in your hands. Yeah, I would rather you go to the Etihad without needing a win. Yeah,
agreed.
That's my position. I would rather you go to the Etihad with enough buffer or cushion, right, so that you don't need a win there. I don't think it changes anything, but it just gives you that confidence as you're going into that game. It reduces the impact on the game more or less. Now going back to your Saka point, very very good, very very good. You mentioned this several times in the past that you should be able to play him, in the middle, and I think this is the formation we'll probably see at North London Derby. Yeah,
ooh.
I think so. I think maybe not to start the game. Maybe towards the end, you'll probably see a variation of this, right? Or maybe even at Wigan. I say Wigan. Sorry,
at Wolves.
Yeah, maybe it might be at Wolves in the midweek. But now you see that you can play himself and Madueke together, which is quite positive. But the injuries are beginning to pile up, Aki. The injuries are beginning to pile up. And this is the running. Now you've lost Merino, you've lost Havertz. Odegaard came back, is injured. See,
He's injured
the key
again.
players for Arsenal in the past have been Saka and Odegaard. Two of them have had a relatively poor season, given the standard
Injury
that they've
field.
given us.
Injury
field season. So I tell people you can't have it either ways. If a Paul Scholes is saying no Arsenal frontline player will be in the team of the season, that means the coach is overcoaching and is getting way more out of the team than he should. And as such, you should respect him and say he's probably the coach of the season, right? But you can't now say the coach is horrible. The coach is you should sack him.
And the players are not world class.
And the players, pick your poison. Pick your poison at this point. Anyway, I rest my case.
Okay. So Yinka, we know all of this is hate, so we're just gonna move on.
Yes.
Looking ahead,
before we look ahead, Aki.
Okay.
Before we look ahead, these FA Cup games that happened, the Newcastle Aston Villa game. Did you see what happened from a refereeing standpoint?
Yeah, with our friend Dyche again. So last week he was busy not playing defense.
It was Chris. Yeah.
Yeah, it was Dyche. Yeah, Dyche.
It was Dyche.
Yeah.
It was Dyche.
The player.
But Dyche is not the one at fault now. It's Chris Kavanagh, right?
I know, but I'm saying it involved him.
It involved Dyche, yeah.
But yeah.
Dyche handled the ball in the box. He jumped up. It landed in the box. Chris Kavanagh gave a free kick.
Free kick outside the box.
Outside the box.
But there was no VAR. There's no VAR in this.
When there was no VAR, was this kind of rubbish happening? It wasn't this bad now. So these refs have so spoiled today that I think this week of FA Cup football just proved to people that with the incompetence of the refs you have, you can never throw a VAR. Yeah?
Yeah.
Even the issues we have with VAR is not the system that is the problem. It's the refs that is the problem.
People. Yeah.
It's the people using the system that is the problem. That's the worst refereeing anything that I can. It just keeps getting worse. Chris Kavanagh gave a free kick. Luckily, Newcastle scored from that free kick. Yeah? Luckily. So the impact of his stupidity is not... He made their job not amplified.
Much harder. Yeah.
Exactly. You guys go check that out. It was horrible. Anyway.
It was bad. It was bad.
Yeah.
Okay. So today's Sunday. So this week we have the Champions League playoffs.
Yes.
That's the teams that were number 9 to number, what would it be? 24? Something like that?
Yeah, something like that.
Whatever the
mathematician.
Yeah. So 9 to whatever. And then they'll play each other to get into the top 16 proper.
Yes.
Is there any that we've talked about the matchups before? Benfica,
we have.
Benfica, Real Madrid.
Gala Juve, Benfica, Madrid are the main games.
Yeah, those are the main ones. Yeah,
those are the main ones.
We'll see. Next week we'll come back and report. We'll report what happens. That's midweek. Next weekend, Arsenal go to the Spurs with their new manager. And City will be home to Newcastle that week, or is that?
Yes, City, Newcastle.
Newcastle.
Yes.
But that's after City. No, City are not playing this Champions League.
City are not playing the Champions League, and they don't have a midweek game. Yeah. They are all midweek. They would have also played midweek, but the club that they're supposed to play, I think they have. They are playing the Europa League, I believe.
Got it.
So that's why they can't play in the midweek. So it's the fixture for the Carabao Cup final that is brought forward. So while Arsenal City played the Carabao Cup final, we're supposed to play Wolves, and they're supposed to play, I think it's Forest. I can't remember, guys. It might be Forest or Crystal Palace. I'm not too sure which game it is.
So, Inka, what I have is Newcastle home, Leeds, the next 3. Newcastle home, Leeds away, Forest home. So I don't know which one is which.
So it's probably the Forest one, because Forest are still in the
Okay, so maybe that's why it's Okay.
So it's either Forest or the Palace one, because those are the two teams that are still playing continental football. Yeah, so they can't play. They can play this week. But see, North London Derby, right? It's an interesting one. Spurs will be coming off the IGG of a new coach, right? Arsenal are coming off. Hopefully, the midweek game against Wolves. Hopefully, it's 3 points. This is an opportunity for Arsenal to then, because see, points in the kitty is points in the kitty. I don't know when they say game in hand. Game in hand is not guaranteed in any way, right? So this is a chance for Arsenal to actually, stretch the lead again. It's going to be an interesting game, yeah. But I think Arsenal will win. Yeah, I think Arsenal
against
will
Wolves?
beat Spurs. Both games.
Oh, sorry,
Wolves
against both games
and Wolves and Spurs. Then City Newcastle. Newcastle, they are the Jekyll and Hyde is too much, right? I don't see City losing. They might draw, but I don't see City losing this game. Newcastle are just, today they play well, the next day they're shambles. What's his name? Barnes, or what's his name? One day he's on top of the world, the next day Harvey Barnes. One day he's on top of the world, the next day. The only consistent performer in Newcastle is Sandro Tonali. Right, I've been super duper impressed with him this season. Right, he was good at Milan. I didn't know he was that good. He has taken his play to the next level. He's by far their best player, Newcastle's best player this season, by far.
Yeah, for me, he makes what's the name of their captain now, the Brazilian
Guimarães, Bruno.
It makes Bruno look so pedestrian, which I've always believed it was.
Yeah.
He is the most un-Brazilian of midfielders that you'll ever find. And I'm not talking like Odunga, who is just like tactical, but never really great.
No, but you see, what you're saying is Dunga was Dunga. Dunga was never interested in flicks and all.
Running around and doing stuff.
Gimaresh is interested in flicks, but the way he does that, you look at him and you're like, this
is not good.
It looks tacky.
Yeah.
It looks
it
looks forced.
So he's not he's not a great Brazilian player at all. So, but you're right. Tonali is doing the Brazilian things in that midfield, if that makes sense.
He is.
Yeah, it's a little crazy when you think about it. Okay.
Good player. Yes, sir.
I think that's it. Do we have a donkey of the week?
Of course, Chris Kavanagh.
Chris Kavanagh.
Of course.
Not all referees, just Chris Kavanagh.
Akin was bad.
Chris
Kavanagh and his assistant ref.
The assistants didn't even try to help him out. They didn't do anything.
These guys are spoiled. VAR has spoiled them. Even the first goal that Villa scored was offside.
Oh my god.
Tammy Abraham was offside. And I'm like, how bad can it be? Dinia jumped in the box, handled the ball. You saw the handball.
He landed
in the box. He didn't land outside. He landed in the box. And you give a free kick. You actually drew the line where Trippier, kicked the ball. That's where you went to put the line. I think he had a brain fart. I think that's what happened. I think he had a brain fart, and he thought,
his linesman should have come to him. So that's the thing with VAR now. People don't know how to act because there was a time when pre-VAR you could confer with your assistants.
Exactly.
And
or the assistant should say, "Guy, come on."
Hey, no, I don't agree.
Something
you can overrule. You can overrule your assistant.
Yeah.
But if they say, "Hey, I saw this better,"
if they say, "I saw this and I'm 100% certain," you trust them and you give it.
Yeah.
It was
so honestly, I think the problem is, I think when there's no VAR, everyone is connected by communications anyway. The assistants and the referee and the fourth official should be communicating.
They are.
In my opinion.
They do.
What? Without VAR? If there was
without
no VAR,
they do. That's why they have that bulky thing and whatever and the pieces. That was there before VAR. All they've just done now is they've added VAR into that communication pool.
Yeah.
Before then. So there are two ways. That the flag had the button on it. So if you press it, it signals the ref to say, I have a decision here for you. So that's why I tell you, see the ref is facing this way, and all of a sudden he will turn back and say offside. No, it's not because the guy called him or spoke. Sometimes he just buzz. So they know that there's a decision to make. There are ways they communicate. It's just that they're just lazy at this point.
Wow.
And spoiled.
Okay, so that's your donkey of the week.
Yes, sir.
Please take us home. We are done. Yes,
episode 97 done and dusted.
That's crazy.
Yeah, episode 97 done and dusted. Thank you guys once again. Journey to the next 1,000 in terms of subscribers across all platforms is on. So please do the needful. You know what to do. Where you need to subscribe, where you need to like, where you need to engage us, please do send us questions. Send us comments. Let's in the comment section of the YouTube page or X or Instagram, let's have your thoughts. Aki, by the way, the discussion we had around Morocco or the Northern Africans, it got quite a bit of traction, and a lot of people threw some hits towards you and myself for some of the things we said, which is fine.
Were they Moroccans?
It seems so, and we graciously responded to them.
Did we? Is this on TikTok? Because if it's on TikTok, I'll never see it.
It's on YouTube. It's on YouTube.
And I didn't see it. I'm on YouTube quite a bit, but I'm never on TikTok.
Yeah, it's on YouTube.
Okay, I'll have to go and find it.
Go check it out. Anyway,
thanks, do I know how to find it? I'm kidding. I know how to find it.
Anyway, thanks, guys. We really do appreciate it. Good luck to Arsenal during the midweek games, and we'll see you all next week. Aki.
Thank you, Yinka. Thank you, everyone. This was fun. We will be back next week. Yinka, I'm actually going to be out of town next week. I haven't told you, but we'll talk about it. But we may have to record on a Monday, but we will be back next week. And goodbye.